specific hallway because it highlights all the history of every like all the different organizations, like the mother organizations, like Unica, Mecha, right? There's different, very much different resources here. So this is definitely one of those buildings that you definitely want to, definitely take advantage of, right? So yeah, I'll pass it on for the next person and I'll talk more about it in a bit. All right, thank you, Jessica. So Jessica was just down there, and then all you have to do to get to where I am, a Kirkland Hall right here, is just go up this little hill right here, and I'll give you all a quick 360. Right down there is Jan Steps, which we will be covering today, but it's super pretty today. I just want to show y'all the outside of the Kirkland Hall, and Ackerman is right there as well. And so is so basically they're gonna cover Ackerman, but that's like where you want to be. Here and Akron is where you want to be. And really real quick, if you go left up here, that's considered North Campus, and then when you go right up these steps, that's considered South Campus or STEM, the STEM part, which we will be covering today. But right now, I really want to talk about Kirkland Hall specifically. So it houses all the student advocacy groups, mother organizations, so Samhang, ASU, MECHA, APC, MSA, and mother organizations work together for the empowerment of underrepresented communities at the UCLA campus and higher education overall. And Kirkland Hall also houses the Usac, which is the Undergraduate Student Association Council, which in the past has worked on changing admissions policies, decreasing student fees, and creating student services. And currently, Usac is working on the implementation of a diversity requirement as well as the elimination of minimum progress. So Kirkland Hall, the first floor, has a transfer center. So this is like where you want to come. Once y'all get accepted into UCLA, just stop by the transfer center and just go in there, introduce yourself. Everyone is so friendly. And just recently, I believe last year or this year, they opened the Black Bruin Resource Center. So definitely something to check out. Those are both on the first floor. And then I could want to talk about USAC. They're elected every spring quarter. They're the governing body of undergraduate student unions. Their membership is comprised of every UCLA undergraduate student. So when y'all come to UCLA, you could definitely join, and I really recommend it. It's great to be involved. And also, so the Transfer Student Center, it's the office that connects, supports transfer students to resources, help them achieve their goals, succeed here at UCLA and beyond. It hosts the Bruin Transfer Party, which is week 3, and usually a de-stress study fest, which is week 10. And it also has the Bruin card office, which includes, like getting a Bruin card when it's lost or you need to replace it and whatnot. And then Kirkland Hall, I've noticed that a lot of clubs usually do their meetings here, and they also do CPR certification here. Not specifically Kirkland Hall, but a lot of organizations like for CPR first aid, they usually do it here, and this is where it's located. Like if y'all are pre-med and you need to get your CPR certification to work in a hospital, volunteer in a hospital. I know UCLA offers it. For example, care extenders, you're usually going to come and do it here. And there's even a cafe in Kirkland Hall, and it's super nice. And yeah, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Noelia, but I'll keep my camera on so I could go inside and show y'all a little bit more of inside Kirkland Hall.
Hi everyone. So I'm here, which on the Tongva steps, they were formerly known as the Jan steps. So once I get up there, also, if you guys are going to class and you're in a hurry, I would not recommend you going through these because they're really committed. But this is basically like where we have our Powell Library. I'm gonna walk over there first, so. Also, I forgot to mention, if y'all are undocumented or have undocumented kind of peers or friends, this is where they were able to like fight for like the AB 540 in 2001. They had like a little, not a little, they had a rally. But also they host like a lot of events here and stuff. Okay, so we have like our Powell Library right here. Um, so the Powell Library has literally so many resources. They allow you to like borrow laptops. You're able to like print out things. They have a reading room. I don't know if you could see the full library here, but they have a reading room. Um, they also help out with research, so they do have a research desk where you're able to get help from a librarian, and they point you to like different sources that you could utilize and stuff. Um, they also have what they call the night Powell, and it's basically a large, quiet reading room, and it's opened overnight, and it usually from the third week of fall, winter, and spring quarters. So basically, they open the library for you, like the not the library. They have a specific room, and they open it overnight. It is quite large. I will tell you that it gets really packed, like during like um the first weeks, but also I realized that as the quarter gets comes to an end, it's starting to get a lot more packed. So yeah. Right here is the Royce Hall, and it's more like where events are held. Um there it's been I'm sorry. Not working.
Noelia, you're muted. I'm not sure if you're speaking.
I'm sorry, I was. But basically, this is the Royce Hall, and this is where a lot of events occur. Um, haven't personally had a class inside, but I know, like right here, there's like on the side, like classes are held from what I see. I don't know what if y'all could see it, but also as you can see, there's a lot of students that like will just sit there and like study. So yeah, I don't know. On the sides of the buildings, there's also like benches where you could like do your homework and stuff like that, just in case. I know like sometimes the libraries are a little intimidating to go in. For me personally, I've had like trouble even concentrating because they're so quiet. So I've gone to the sides of these buildings, and they're like little benches where you could study there. And here, I don't know. Okay, I'll show you. Mhm. I can't find it. I don't know if we want to go over to Brenda. I think she's at the bottom of Tonga steps.
Yeah, that would be good. So yes, I'm at the bottom of Tonga steps, and I would like to give y'all. Sorry, let me. Yeah, so I'm right here at the bottom of Tonga steps, and I want to give you guys a little bit of history of um like the people of color tour maps. So to begin with, there's a stone here dedicated to Martin Luther King because of so on April 28th, 1965, Martin Luther King delivered a speech to a crowd of about 5,000 students. Sorry, I moved the camera. My mask. For more than an hour, King delivered a powerful speech about race relations, poverty, and nonviolence. He called for laws to protect the rights of African Americans, including the passing of aborting rights, which President Lyndon B. Johnson was signed 5 months later. So this is a very significant place, and right now there's a lot of push to rename these steps. Right now they're known as Jan steps, but there's a lot of push to rename them Tonga steps because of all the history of people of color and because of the impact that these steps have had on the history of this school. So other information that I don't think was mentioned by Noelia is that on May 5, 1970, Royce Quad held the largest demonstration to that time against the Vietnam War. The campus was 90% white, yet the organizers were possible to organize across race and class lines in opposition to the war. The protest was a few days later after Kent State's killings and the protest was a few days later after the Kent State killings and the occurred in the protest and occur in order to protest President Nixon's decisions to bomb Laos in Cambodia during the Vietnam War. During this protest in what is now known the Wilson Plaza, bottom of Tonga steps, the LAPD TAC squad assembled on campus. The LAPD TAC squad assembled on campus in military formation for the first time ever, deployed to UCLA. In the preparations for provocation, a hippie threw a rock at the police, and this became the first police riot on campus. The police riot started from Jan Steps and accumulated to Campbell Hall, which is located over here. With the indiscriminated beatings that followed, students of color and staff were beaten without a cause, and Native American students were killed. During the Vietnam War protests in 1970, Campbell Hall was the only building stormed by the LAPD. So yes, that's another important history about these steps. And also to add on to that, on January 16, 2001, the top of Jan Steps, the students of color gathered to rally for the implementation of AB 540, a bill that would allow undocumented students that had attended or graduated from a California high school and are in the legal process of legislation and to attend college in California. At the same time, fees as residents without having to pay internal or without state fees. After Governor Gray Davis signed the bill, the University of California system was the last system in the state to implement it. Students came together in March up to Cobo Commons to demand the Regents implement AB 540. As a result of students' effort, UC Regents implemented AB 540 into the UC system, which will be in effect for the year 2003. So yeah, there's a lot of important history in these steps. I could definitely relate to the fight for AB 540 because I'm undocumented. And when I had just started school, I applied to be an AB 540 student. And that's the reason why I was able to continue with my education. So that's another reason these steps are very important because of the activism that has happened here that really has impacted our communities, immigrant communities, African American communities, and has pushed for social justice struggles. So it's really good to know that right now there's been a push to rename these steps so they could uphold that history. And I'll go ahead.
Thank you, Brenda. I think you cut off.
No way, did I cut off?
The
completely. I
last
just
part.
thought of that. Oh,
No,
okay,
no, no.
okay.
Everything was great. We heard everything but the last part. But I think now we can go maybe check in with Paola.
Okay.
Paola, how
Okay.
are you doing? Where are you at? What's going on?
Hi, is it me or is it Jessica?
Um, I'm not sure, but
I mean, I could go. It's fine.
I mean, we haven't heard from you, so let's kind of check in where you're at.
Okay. All right, y'all. So we are officially about to enter South Campus. So we will be covering like the inverter fountain and psychology, but just so y'all get perspective, it's just gonna be like right down there. And if you go up a little bit and just turn right here in between these two buildings, you do have the physics and astronomy building. I know we have the astrophysics major in here, so that's where you're gonna be. And then just right to the left of this, so behind it is a physics and astronomy building. This is the IPAM, which is the Institute of Pure and Applied Mathematics. So it's a program. The program complements the department's applied mathematics group and also includes workshops in pure mathematics, typically bringing together researchers from several distinct fields to increase interactions between the fields. There's a data fest beginning stages at the moment. Well, not anymore because this was in 2012. Basically, they do competitions and collaborations with private and public companies, and they did win in 2012. And then if you just turn over here, this is all the math and sciences building, all of this right here, and just right down there where it has like the little white thing on top of the building, that's the engineering building. So we will be going more down in South Campus, but real quick for the math and sciences, we do have planetarium and telescopes at the top of the building. You can't see it from this side of the building, but if I go down there, or when I go down there, I'll be able to show y'all more. And the planetarium is on the 8th floor and telescopes are on the 9th floor, and they do have free public shows on Wednesdays at 8. And it's usually led by grad students, and they cover like a variety of topics. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. So since it is open to the public, y'all as community college students could definitely come in as well. And then the math department has, many research areas, including algebra, materials modeling, number theory, and topology. And the Student Math Center, which is MS3974, it offers a group study and tutorials for lower division courses. So usually like when you transfer over, you do want to have most of your prereqs done, but there's sometimes where you don't have everything done and you still get accepted, and that's definitely okay. If you need help with any of those courses, you could still definitely come here and get help for that. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and walk down here so y'all can see the other side of the building. And this is like kind of the official entrance to South Campus, which is a STEM campus. And there's a lot of buildings here to cover. And just on the other side of this, like you just go more down, that's gonna be the med schools, the public health, and they even have a garden. And unfortunately, we'll be covering those topics today, but hopefully in the future we do. So right here to the left of me, that's the geology, earth, and space sciences building. I'm gonna try and give y'all a better view of it. Okay, so it's right here. And then just right next to it down there, that's Young Hall. And the geology, so Earth and Space Sciences building, and Young Hall, they're connected. They're connected by Chrysler Hall. So it's just that one right in the middle. And then the Earth and Space Sciences is a multidisciplinary building and department with research in geology, tectonics, geochemistry, cosmochemistry, geobiology, and much more. And on the 3rd floor of this is like related to the department, but it's not in this area, but on the 3rd floor of the Court of Sciences ground level, which is all the way down there, you see the mineral samples, meteorites, and the cast of dinosaur skeletons, and the T-Rex school, which is all courtesy of this department right here. And then Young Hall, that's your chemistry and biochem majors. So that's, you see like kind of where those white pillars are and those little white, those steps right there. That's gonna be like where you take your chem classes and labs for sure. You're gonna have your labs mostly in there, but your lectures could be anywhere. They could even be in North Campus. If you're a STEM major, you're not completely restricted to South Campus, but for the most part, you will be. For example, for me, a lot of my discussions from my STEM classes are still in North Campus just because, you know, they're just discussions and you have them wherever you could. So for Young Hall, it was named after W.G. Young, a former dean of the college and previous chemistry professor in biochem, organic chemistry, inorganic, and physical chemistry research. So, you know, they did it all. 3 faculty members have won a Nobel Prize. As far as we know, since 2012. I'm not completely sure as of now how many. We have Nobel Prizes in chemistry and biochemistry. I'm pretty sure it's a lot more. We've accomplished so many amazing things. And many research areas are here in Young Hall, including nanomaterials, materials creation, genetics, and cancer research. Then if I look over here, this right here is all Bolter Hall. It's pretty big. And it's connected right there to the Math and Sciences building. And this is like a building that many students get lost in. And you're known to get lost in here because it's super random, the things like how it's set up. And a lot of these buildings are connected. So you could go into the Math and Sciences building, but you're bound to end up in Bolter Hall. Like, it's honestly super confusing. So when y'all transfer over here and you have a class over here, I definitely recommend trying to find your class before the first day so you don't get confused. And then real quick, for Bolter Hall, okay, so the majors offered here is aerospace engineering, bioengineering, chemical engineering, you know, computer science as well. It's going to be down here, and so much more, right? Like all your engineering majors offered at UCLA. And because of that, this is connected with the Henry Samueli School of Engineering and Applied Science. And on the other side of this, like I showed y'all when I was on the other side of the Math and Sciences building, is the engineering building as well, which you could access going through Bolter Hall. And in order to do that, so sorry, you could do that, you for sure could do that, but there's also an engineering clean lab tour. In order to get to that, that is in the engineering building, which once again I said is behind this. So you basically just enter through Boyle Hall, through the southernmost entrance, which is gonna be that one over there. They have a few different entrances. You know, I'm not even gonna go over it because it's so confusing, but maybe I could walk through it while I pass it on to someone else. But this is basically the first half of South Campus. That's Young Hall again, Earth Planetary Sciences. That's Franz Hall, which is psychology, I believe, which I think we will be covering, but I'm not doing that. This is your Math and Sciences, and this is all Bolter Hall. And then we will be getting to I will be covering the other side of South Campus as well. But for now, this is just the first half. And then also, I don't know if y'all could see all those people exiting that building right there. That is Young Hall. You will be having lectures in there as well. But this is usually where you have your labs, just entering this like open area. And that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Brenda.
Thank you, Paola. And there was a request to show astronomy and astrophysics buildings. So I know you're going deeper into South Campus, but maybe on your way back, you can stop by and you can let us know when you're there and we can kind of tune in for that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go inside of it and show y'all like the first floor and stuff too.
Okay, thank you. And I think before we move to Brenda, I think Jessica's still at CPO.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm still here at SAC and I just, wanted to show y'all like why SAC is so important for students, right? So here at SAC, the Student Activity Center, We do have the community programs office. That is a student-run, student-initiated program that focuses on student retention, outreach, and community service. It offers various services, student jobs, and leadership opportunities, and of course, great events and projects. There's also a food closet located in level 1, and all students are welcome to drop by and pick up any food items. In addition to that, they also do have like a printing, so you're able to access like different printing and like get printing for free. They do have a test bank that have there's a you can find previous exams by professors to kind of have an idea of what the midterm and the final is going to look like. So this is, I just wanted to show you all because look, this is what I mean by like the students have the power, and like we as students bring so much knowledge, and not to bring, other, but like it's important to also recognize, right, that we have different like capitals, right? We have our like community culture wealth, and this is literally an example of that. So this is again CPO. The office is located right here, right in the in SAC. So this is kind of like where the office is at. This is what it looks like. But I just wanted to show you all like a little bit more of the different programs that are within CPO. So we do have the American Indian recruitment, we have MAPS, we have Hope Higher Opportunity for Program for Education. We have the Pacific Islander Education Retention, African Students Union, SHAPE. We have MECHA, Space. We have Projecting Minds, Alma Science Academy, Brewing Vision Project, the AB 540 Project, Latino Student Health Project, the Black Latino AIDS Project, the African Education Project, the I'm Home, Flying Samaritans. I don't know how to say that. .org. There you go. The Latinas Guiding Latinas. We have CORE, and then we have the Asian Pacific Health Corps. And we have Mente. So we definitely, right, and these are literally just some like, this is not even like like everything, right? There's so many more different programs and opportunities that you can definitely get involved once you come here to UCLA. There's definitely something for you, right? And also I just want to encourage you all, right, that if there's something here that you're like, you know what, like it catches my attention, but I kind of do my own thing, you're always more than welcome to start your own club, right? And that's the beauty of like UCLA. Like if I'm not mistaken, and if the last time I was working with like an organization called Copper, we have like, and we put up like a list, there's over 600 clubs like here on campus. Like that's crazy, right? So that's just like a little bit more information on CPO. Definitely take advantage of this. I do want to say that CPO has definitely been one of the programs that has definitely really helped me here as a student, even specifically during the pandemic. The pandemic definitely financially impacted students in many shapes and forms, and CPO definitely was one of the offices, like like many others, that would provide like food vouchers. They would provide like subsidy cards for students, right? Like to go get groceries. Like they every like semester they give like a food gift box, right? So they recently had like a turkey gift box food, right? So those are the type of things that are available for the community and for students, and that's why it's like so important for us to be aware of like where the student activities center is at. And then also like what are the other things that you can definitely get involved on. So I just wanted to show you all like this specific area, and again for printing, their services, tutoring that is available within this office. So I'm gonna continue going down. So I'm gonna pass it on to the next person, because the next place that I will show you all is a transfer center. So I will pass it to the next person, and then I'll see you back very soon.
Great. Thank you, Jessica. And up next, we have Noelia. So if you can tell us a little bit more about where you're located.
Hi, everyone. So I'm located by the inverted fountain. So I'm going to get really close to it, but I am not going to touch it, just because there is a tradition that before you transfer or you are admitted, when you do, you basically touch the water in it, right? But if you touch it again, supposedly you add another quarter to your term or your academic journey. So that's a thing. That's a really cool thing to see. And then we have the psychology building right here. It's the Chrysler Hall, I believe. It's I've never been in there, but I know that there's a lot of like offices located in there, and there seems to be a lot of students that are studying in the first floor. And then if we turn over here, we have the Austin Music Center. So not only is it the school for music, but it also holds a coffee shop, which I personally have not utilized, but the reason is it gets really packed a lot of the times. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a lot of people in there, so there's really no space to study. But if you're looking to just grab some coffee and like just study around here, it would be a good option. If I'm gonna keep walking towards the music building is Schoenberg, I believe. So again, this is the Herb Alpert School of Music. So the music department would be the first independent school of music, and it's one of the first among all the UCs. Okay. I don't know if any of you want to see a specific part of the building. I know that the School of Music has its own application, so okay. Right here. So this is still part of the music school. I know they also have a library that you can see right there. You don't have to necessarily be the major of the library. I assume that you did. And it turns out you could go into whatever library you want as long as you have your Bruin card. So it is a pretty nice space, and there's a little like area here where you could study as well. I think there's a question in the chat. Does the School of Music give free shows? I personally have not seen that, but okay, Charlie says yes. I've never really seen that here before, but it would be really interesting to see. I think that's all. I don't know.
I think I just saw it on their Instagram. I get all my information from Instagram. I just saw that I think they are having an upcoming show with some very, I don't know, I guess famous folks. I'm really not sure. There's also actually a free show this Sunday by the UCLA Mariachi, Ucatlan. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like the UCLA, the UCLA Mariachi. And it's for Dia de los Muertos, and that's a free show. So honestly, there's so much free stuff happening on campus. Some of it is virtual, some of it is in person now, but there's constantly like talks, there's performances, like student performances, there's like guest speakers or guest performers that come on campus. So that's also something to kind of keep an eye out when you're a student, because you can get, like, I've seen lots of like famous people give talks, like Angela Davis, Cornel West, there's all these different folks that come to UCLA to give like speeches or performances. So always kind of keep a lookout for that. And some of those are open to the public too. So you don't necessarily have to be a UCLA student.
Also, I'm not sure if anyone showed this, but Haynes Hall is right over there, and that's where the Chicana and Chicano center is that. And I think the African American Studies Center is there too, just for y'all to see. I know some of my classes are in this building, which is Kaplan for the Chicana studies major. Where do you check for these events? Like Chelly said, I get a lot of my information from Instagram. I don't know if any of it go, or the emails, your major's email newsletter, sometimes it's there too. I don't know if we want to go to the next person.
Yeah, I could go next. So I'm at Haynes Hall. Let me go ahead and turn on my camera. So I'm gonna give you guys history about this. Wrong side. Okay. So this is Haynes Hall. This is like the building is really nice. You guys can see. So to give you guys a little people of color history of this building. So this housed 15,000 Native Americans remains in the name of science in the 1980s. The administration wanted the ethnic studies program to move from Campbell Hall to Haynes. The American Indian Studies Center refused to move the religious grounds. After a difficult fight, they still remain in Campbell Hall. Native American students organized to have these remains repatriated to their tribes. They battled with professors who claimed Indian bones were needed for research, quote unquote. The students of color supported the American Indian students' struggle to repatriate the bones because that was righteous. Many bones have been given back. Excuse me, my mask. But many hundreds from across America and California are now housed at UCLA, which is ridiculous. Okay, so this is a history behind this hall. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you more history. As Noelia was mentioning, the Chicano Study Research Center is located in this hall. So the research center was established in the 1960s to create 1960s to create awareness for Chicano issues, Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx issues. The library contains archives of students and community activism here at UCLA. During the fight for Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx studies, the center was threatened to have its fundings cut, which is ridiculous because some other history related to that, they were trying to like cut the funding that the funding was compared. They would rather like have this like the you guys see all the greenery, all the lawns and everything that's around here. So instead of funding the Chicano, Chicanx and research program, they wanted to like put the money to like continue to like have these lawns like beautiful, but would not want to continue to fund the Chicanx research center. So related to that, during the fight for Chicano studies, the center was threatened to have its funding cut, sparking the struggle to keep the center open as well to establish a department for Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx studies. In addition, the center houses one of the largest archives in Chicano history in the United States, which is amazing. Okay, so also the Center for African American Studies is housed right here. So it was during the discussion for how the center would be structured. The Bunch Carter and John Huggins were assassinated in Campbell Hall. The center was recently renamed Ralph J. Bunch Center for African American Studies after the first African American to win the Nobel Prize. Okay, so this hall houses a lot of important history about Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx program, and also unfortunate what happened here too. So the history behind it, we know there were some wins, but there was also some losses because of the unfortunate event. So we're gonna go ahead and walk towards Campbell Hall, which is where we have the Academic Advancement Program, AAP, which houses CCP, Community College Partnerships with UCLA, which is located right here in Campbell Hall. So it's very close to, I'm sorry, I'm almost falling, to Haynes Hall. So the Academic Investment Program, this is a university-based student diversity program that offers peer learning, tutoring, scholarships, academic, personal, and career counseling, and more. Check to see if you're eligible for this program. Many transfer and non-trans qualify. So I'm a non-traditional student, and I'm also a transfer student. So I definitely qualify for the program. And it's been great because during the summer before transferring to UCLA, I was able to take part on the transfer summer program. And it was online, but it was still good because you get to like have a feel of like the workload difference when it comes down to from like a community college like work to upper division work, right? So the Campbell Hall is located right here. I remember one time we had an event with CCP, well, before transfer, and it was right here in this auditorium, which is closed. So yeah, this is Campbell Hall. I'm gonna go ahead and walk up the stairs.
Actually, Brenda, we're gonna be covering Campbell Hall in a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah. So maybe if you wanna make your way over to Bunch Hall, and then in the meantime, I think Jessica's currently at the transfer center.
okay.
Hi everyone. Okay, so again, this is where I'm at. Just for a little bit of context, I'm inside of Kirkhoff, if I'm saying it correctly. Here, as you can see, I'm right next between the SAC, the Student Activity Center, and then also Bruin Walk. So this is the building from like kind of like the inside. So I'm gonna get a little sneak peek of what's inside of here. So when you come inside of here, there's of course different resources. We do have the student media at UCLA, and if you can like see right here, this is pretty much all we have. Towards our right side of the building, as soon as you come in, you can like pretty much, this is the space where you can get your Bruin card, and you can also get more information on like how to access like anything that has to do with technology and like the internet. Like this is pretty much like the office you go to. I cannot tell you how many times I've called this office because I have so many issues. So this is like the information for technology services, Bruin Online. And this, I really, really want to highlight this, this specific center. This is the UCLA Student Center. This is a transfer center. So I'm gonna go in really quick. Just give me a minute really quick. Okay, everyone, so I am here inside of the transfer center. So go transfers. Again, I'm a very proud transfer student, and we're always talking about, power to the transfer. And honestly, this is a space, I'm sorry, y'all are studying. But this is a space, right, where, like we get to kind of like feel at home. Transferring sometimes, can be a little bit like culture shocking, but look, like there's like so many more transfer students, like you're not alone. So this is kind of like what the office, provides a center. There is like a space for you to study, very encouraging, words of affirmation, as you can see here. I love this space. Like I tell you this now. There's like a little kitchen area where you can definitely get coffee and like heat up your food, right? Because we also want to make sure that you're eating, you're staying hydrated, and you're taking those breaks. Because we all know school, it's not easy, right? Like it's not easy. You see, they're able to tell you. It's definitely not easy. There's definitely like, a place like a chill place where you can definitely come and relax and just take your mind off UCLA stress. I do want to say that. So when you come in, you check up in the front counter. We have amazing people here. We love this. Thank you so much. Anything you would like to tell our students? So I work for CCCP, and we are doing a virtual tour for ELAC students, pretty much open for the whole community. But I work specifically with ELAC. So any words of encouragement that you would like to give them?
Keep going. It's already end of week 8, right? I know I'm definitely struggling, but you definitely got this. If you ever need anything or just need a space to come, chill, or even cry, like this is definitely good for you to come by. We always have like private spaces there. We have counseling and psychological services that come in for drop-in hours. I believe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I remember correctly. So we have a lot of resources in the space. Please feel free to use it to your advantage.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you. Again, this is, outside of Kirkland. As soon as you come in, go to your right-hand corner. Literally right here. That's where you come in. This is the center, right? Like we can't get lost. This is where it's at. So again, right, as we are entering spaces like UCLA, it's very, very, very important for us to find our community, find our spaces. And, this is a space where they understand the struggles. They understand what it's meant to be an undocumented, not an undocumented student. I'm an undocumented student, but what it is to be a transfer student, right? So please, take advantage of all the resources that are available here at UCLA. And everything else that comes with it. So I'm gonna pass it to the next person, and then I'll come back real quick.
Thank you, Jessica. And I think up next, Paola's still in South Campus, and now she's like South Campus. So if you want to show us the southernmost part of the campus.
Yes. So as Shelly said, I'm literally at the most southern part of South Campus. This is literally the end of UCLA undergrad, basically. It does continue, like, of course, as I said earlier, on the back of this building, which is a life sciences building, but that's usually for grad schools. So I just want to cover a few important buildings. So this one right here, this building right here, is the California Nano Systems Institute, short for SNSI. So that's basically a multidisciplinary research center for life and physical sciences, engineering, and medicine. The building opened in 2007, and it's home to state-of-the-art laboratories and equipment. And this building is actually not open to the public, so not for undergrads either, I believe. If you could potentially do research here, if you hit up a professor and they allow you to do research with them, you don't have to do a professor for a UCLA undergrad. You don't have to do research for a UCLA undergrad professor. You could definitely hit up like a doctor that does research in here potentially, or just anybody else. And because it's not open to the public, unfortunately I can't go in and show y'all, but it's super cool. This was actually like also where the internet was created. UCLA and I believe Stanford created the internet together. And yeah, super fun fact. I feel like when I first did the POC tour, like when I was a scholar, I didn't know that. So that was super cool to find out. And then right next to it right here, this is the Crux, and this houses the Institute of Environment and Classroom Space, and it's the first green building to be constructed on campus, and it aims to achieve a LEED silver rating. And it opened in 2005, and it has a whole bunch of lecture halls, so you can for sure, as a STEM major, expect to have one of your lectures in here, or even discussion, or for example, a lot of not my TAs, my professors have had their office hours here because other buildings are not accessible, like their actual offices. For example, Boyer Hall over here and Terasaki Life Sciences building, they're all research buildings. So there's just labs in there, there's no classrooms. And because they're lab buildings, they usually aren't open to the public all the time. For example, Boyer Hall over here, it closes at 7 p.m. to the public, whereas, other buildings stay open for super long nights, for a super long time, like 10, 11 or something. But yeah, Boyer Hall closes early, and so does Terasaki Life Sciences building. But if you're a student there, you could be given a key. If you're a student doing research in there, you could be given a key. For example, I do research in Boyer Hall, right? So I am given a key at times, like if I need to go in past 7 p.m. And I do research at the Jeffrey H. Miller Lab. So if y'all are interested in that, definitely ask questions. I'm super open to helping y'all. And speaking of research, this right here, one second. Okay, this is the life sciences building. So the life sciences building, it holds all the life sciences majors. Like if you're a life science major, you will be having lectures in here for sure. So that's EE Bio, MIMG, NCDB, Integrative Bio, Physiology, even Psychology, and Society and Genetics, BS and BA. So this building also has the Office of Undergraduate Research Sciences, and it's an office that can assist you in finding undergraduate research as well as funding undergraduate research. So that's located in this building. And if you're interested in research and don't know how to start, I would definitely recommend just going in there and asking questions about that for sure. Because I know, especially like as transfer students, the process of finding research is super difficult. Like, for example, for me, my first year, I couldn't get into research because we were online and then a lot of professors were not accepting undergrads. And most of the time, they really don't favor taking in seniors because it takes a lot to train you and they really want to get like at least a good year out of you. But if you go to Undergraduate Research Center, which I did, they definitely led me in the right track. So it's something I recommend doing. And even right now, as an ELAC student, if you're interested in doing research at UCLA and transferring to UCLA, just hit them up, send them an email, and tell them what your interests are, and they'll definitely lead you in the right direction. So once you actually start at UCLA your first quarter, you're going to be well prepared and you get those good 2 solid years of research, right? So that's the life sciences building. And then right here, that's the Orthopedic Hospital Research Center. And for that one, I believe that's also mostly for grad school, but you could definitely do research here as an undergrad. I don't believe there's any lectures in here. It's just research as well. So there's like, like a pattern. Once you get to like the most south part of campus, it's for sure a lot of just labs. And then I don't know if y'all could see down there, a little bit of that blue building. If you are a chem biochem major, or if you just end up wanting to do research for a chem or biochem professor, that's where you're going to be doing your lab for sure, in that building. And this right here is Boyer Hall, as I said. Just the lab building and research. This is the Orthopedic Center, Life Sciences Building, Crux, and then the CNSI. And then this right here, all of this right here that you see, that blocks your view from the first part of South Campus, this is the Core Sciences Center, which is formerly known as the bomb shelter. So basically here you have your restaurants, and this is what they have right now. Subway, Blaze, Pete's Coffee, and Fusion. And there's just a whole bunch of tables, and you just come here to eat. I know, like, for my lab, when we're there all day, we definitely come and eat here. Sometimes, there's not much of options right now. I can't be eating Subway every day. So if you do end up, like, transferring to UCLA and doing your lab, I recommend, bringing your lunch, because you can't walk to Ackerman all the time. It's a little far away. And this is close to a lot of the buildings, so at least you have some options. And one fun fact, this building is also LEED, same as the Crux, which is Leadership in Energy and Environment Design certified. So the building is energy efficient, uses native plants, and uses recycled building materials, among other green features. So this also, Chelly, maybe you could talk a little bit more about how, like, what it used to be used for. Like, it was actually used as a bomb shelter, right?
Yeah, so the name, and back in the day when I was a student, it was definitely known as the bomb shelter, and it was actually a bomb shelter. So during the Cold War, there was different designated spaces on the UCLA campus. And there's different criteria, like there has to be like cement walls thicker than 3 feet. There's underground spaces around UCLA that were designated as bomb shelters. And when I was a transfer student, there was still actually signage up. So there's different buildings that you would go into in different basements that you can actually see the signs that that is a bomb shelter. So in the event of a nuclear war attack, there were certain spaces on campus that you can go to seek shelter. So kind of like fun fact. There is a question in the chat, Paola, in terms of if you have to do research as a science major at UCLA. Can you hear us? She's in the bomb shelter now, so I don't think she, oh, there you go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was really loud in there. My bad. Oh, here's a piece of coffee.
But
So
there's a question about if you have to do research as a STEM student.
Oh, okay. So that's a really good question. So no, you don't have to, but it's so recommended because UCs are research institutions, right? We're literally doing like state of the art. What is it? What is that term? Like world leading cut edge research, something like that, right? A lot of us, a lot of STEM students do end up doing research, but you definitely don't have to. And if you do, you don't have to do research in your department. You could definitely branch out whatever you want. But doing research in your department is beneficial because it's just going to help you learn more about your major, right? So I definitely recommend if you could get into it. And it's just like such a great opportunity. And I'm assuming that's also why a lot of people want to go to UCs, right? Because we're research institutions. And not only do you learn a whole bunch more in general and about your major or other majors, but it also looks great on applications, right? Like if you're pre-med, you don't have to do research, but that'll really, really boost up your application and just make you such a stronger candidate. And also, if you do plan on applying to grad school, PhD, you have to do research, like for sure, especially if you're STEM, if you're bio, physics, engineering, whatnot. If you want to do PhD route, you have to do you have to do research. It's just like a requirement because how are you going to apply to grad school and not do research? You know what I mean? Like you actually can't because that's all you're going to be doing when you're in grad school. So it's definitely something that I highly recommend doing. And also a lot of other people are going to advocate for you doing research as well. As I said earlier, it is a little difficult as a transfer student, but it's not impossible. That's why I said start early. Once you get that acceptance letter, go ahead and email the Undergraduate Research Center, find professors that you want to work with. And trust me, you're going to end up getting a professor that says yes. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, come in and email me. So what you want to do is just send them an email, tell them your research interest. It doesn't have to be anything broad. Just tell them, oh, I'm interested in, molecular genetics and working on, I don't know, anything, right? And then just email them that and then send them your resume for sure. You have to do that. And then tell them the times that you're available to meet. And then they'll be like, okay, let's have an interview this day. And then that's how actually I ended up getting my research. I emailed like 9 professors. You might have to email a lot more. You might have to email a lot less. But make sure every single email is a little bit individualized. You don't just want to do like a big copy and paste because every single professor does different research. So they're going to be able to tell. They're going to be like, why are they telling me they want to do research in molecular bio, but this is a chem lab? You know what I mean? So you kind of want to individualize it a little bit and start off with just 2 professors to email. If they don't respond, follow up. After that, that means they're not interested. Move on to the next 2 professors. So that's definitely like a good strategy to use and what I did. And thankfully I got into a lab. But if y'all do that before you actually start your first quarter here, of course, nothing's guaranteed, but it's very likely that you're going to get into a lab by the time you start. And that's going to allow you to join the honors department of your department. And most STEM majors, like the honors, just means you're doing individualized research, which once again looks great for applications. So really recommended. And that's basically all of South Campus. Sorry, that's basically all of South Campus. And right now I'm going to keep my camera on and walk to the physics building. So whoever wants to see that, just go ahead and continue looking at my screen.
Great. Thank you so much, Paola. And thank you for all those great tips regarding like how to get into research. As you're kind of making your way over to the astrophysics building, I believe it was, I think Jessica is also still in the Kirkhoff area and wanted to kind of show us one of the new centers that just opened up.
Hi everyone. So yes, I am still here at Kirkhoff, but it's important and there's a reason why I'm here, right? So I'm gonna try to speak a little lower just because the walls are a little echoey and this program's already like, there's a lot of students inside. So I do definitely wanna highlight and mention and definitely, highlight this specific center. So it's the Black Bruin Resource Center. So the Black Bruin Resource Center will create programs and activities that facilitate recruiting a more diverse student body retention efforts, such as academic guidance, articulation to graduation, and professional school. They will also provide space for Black students, faculty, and staff, alumni to build community and celebrate the Black African diaspora of various cultures to enhance the UCLA experience for all. The BBRC will serve the social and cultural needs of campus Black community. They will address students' critical call for a safe converting environment and create space and opportunity for Black students and organizations to organize and engage in academic, social, cultural, leadership, community involvement, and network activities. And of course, it will serve as a central hub that will foster exchanges within the faculty, staff, alumni, and community stakeholders. So again, this is,
Your camera is off.
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Can you see it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is where it's at. So again, it was, when you come into Kirkhoff, to the right, that's where the transfer center is, but then to the left, if you continue coming straight, you will see the student organization leadership and engagement, but then we'll have to turn right. And this is exactly where it's at. Again, I'm gonna talk very slow. I did ask for permission. I just wanna show you all the space really quick. Again, I did ask permission. So this is a space. Again, there's students, so I do definitely wanna be very mindful. But this is a space for students to come in, definitely feel that sense of community and family, when they come and transfer to UCLA, like I mentioned, it might not be difficult, and that is for any transfer student, right? So they do have computer labs, and they also do have like a space for them to study, and then there's also like TVs for them. So again, I love this beautiful mural. I want to get closer, but I do want to be respectful of everyone. But I will drop the link of their website in the chat so y'all can see the mural, like they have that in their website. Beautiful, beautiful mural. But y'all can kind of like see it here. Again, this is the Black Student Resource Center. So please, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. And again, I'll drop the link in the chat.
Thank you, Jessica. And I'm gonna pass it over to Paula real quick because I know she's in the building that was requested. Paula, can you hear?
I just entered. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, I just entered the physics and astronomy building, and on the first floor, y'all can see. And for this building, I believe that the labs are in the basement area. So I can actually go real quick because the towers are just they're just classrooms. So let's see. Ooh, this is a big elevator, y'all. This is my first time in this elevator, I think. So it's super cool here. When I was a scholar, I
Oh, we might lose her as she's in the elevator. Okay, so we'll give her a second to maybe, and again, some buildings do not have the best internet connection and reception like you would think we would since we helped invent it. So maybe she'll join us in a couple minutes, but I do think Noelia is by Murphy Hall.
Hi everyone again. I am. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, it froze on my end. You're good.
Oh, I have. There's the registrar's office, which is in the first floor. They provide the schedule of classes and assist for registering classes, but this is something that you could also do online through when you're enrolled as a student. You would do it through your portal, but there's an office for that. There's also the admissions office, and they provide information for new and prospective students in there, and that is in the first floor as well. There's also the financial aid office, and they're dedicated to help students with scholarships, grants, and other aids. Again, if you have any issues or there's something that you need to submit, there's also, because of COVID, a lot of it was shifted online, but if it's something that you prefer to deal with in person, they are in the basement floor. The college academic counseling office is there as well. And they assist with degree requirements for graduation. If you're in academic probation, or if you're trying to double major, you would visit this office. The Center for Accessible Education for students who have disabilities and need accommodations. They are also located in this building. So they have the Student Legal Services, the International Education Office, the Chancellor's Office, College Honors. They also have the Undergraduate Research Center. Oh no. And I'm sorry, my paper just fell. But they assist students with conducting research in humanities, arts, and social sciences. So basically, how Charlie said, it's the administration building, just any official processes that you would need to do, it would be through this building. But again, because of COVID, a lot of things are moved online through the portal. I did want to briefly point out that the quad over there, the Schoomber quad, it also served as the location where there was the hunger strike for the Chicanox studies department. It was basically how Brenda said earlier, they were trying to remove the funding for the department. So this was in 1993, and this was when there was Cesar Chavez's death, and basically the chancellor took advantage of all these students going to his funeral to announce that he was gonna remove funding for the department. So they did conduct a strike in the quad over there. That's awesome. I think Brenda might be next, or was it Paola?
Yeah, thank you so much, Noelia. And I think we're gonna go with Brenda. And Brenda, I think you're in bunch.
Yes, I am. So let me go ahead and turn on my camera. So this is Bunch Hall. Here's the entrance. And here's a sculpture of So Ralph J. Bunch. Okay. So some history relating the Chicanox Apartment of this building is that the importance of so like some background history of like the Chicano, Chicana, Chicanx like department itself, and like some information about it that's important for students to know that want to go into this department is that the importance of earning a degree in the Chicano, Chicanx department is that no matter what field you go into, you need to know that the background of the people that you are going to be working with, example, education, how have people of color been represented in higher education? Also, another important information in history about this, and it's also located on the 7th floor. So the Bunch Hall has the Cesar Chavez Center located on the 7th floor. So anyone that's interested in the Chicanox Apartment, you could come into this building and go to the 7th floor, and you could get a lot of information. You could get a lot of future like you could get, you know, like in the loop of what's going on with research and like more history about it. So in 2004, 2005 academic year, the Department of Chicano, and Chicanic Studies was established. After several years of struggle and resistance, currently the department, faculty, and student department senate continues to pursue graduate programs such as master's and doctor programs, increase its curricular offering, work with its community partners is providing service learning to our students to find resources to support our students through their academic training. So some important questions to ask about like the lack of like, I guess, diversity here on campus, and kind of relating it back to like the Latino community, the diaspora of the Latino community. So there's a question here that we would like to pose is why is there a lack of raza on campus, and what factors contribute to it? So as earlier Noelia was mentioning, there's been a lot of like push and struggle to actually have these spaces. There has to be like hunger strikes when as funding was being cut. There has to be a lot of like sacrifices in a way that people of color have had to make this department happen. So this department is very special to, you know, the BIPOC community, of course, in African American department, Asian American department. There's other departments, of course, that represent people of color. But for example, I'm part of this department, and I feel extremely proud to have like learned a lot of the history of like the educational system in the Latino community, for example. That's something that's really interesting to me right now, and I learned it all through this department. And also just the way that it has empowered me as a person of color and as an immigrant, because I have like I could relate to the stories that I'm reading instead of like reading about, you know, some, I don't know who, like some white people that I have no idea about and I cannot relate to whatsoever. But of course, it's important to be exposed to every culture. But I think that when like as a BIPOC person that has never had like this kind of like, I guess, teaching where I've always learned like about other people's history, and now I finally have the chance to learn of my people's history, is very empowering. So I just want to share that with y'all. Since I already covered Murphy Hall, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Chelly. So I don't know, Chelly, where we should go next.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something about Bunch Hall. So Bunch Hall is named after Ralph Bunch. And he was an LA native. I think he went to like Jefferson High, went to UCLA, was a political scientist, and he was actually the first African American to win the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the ceasefire and contributions in working in the Middle East and the Middle East conflict. So he was a UN secretary. He did a lot of work with the United Nations. When I was at I should remember more. When I was at UCLA, I was a poli-sci major and I took a whole class just on Ralph Bunch. But he was someone that I definitely, you know, really looked up to and kind of acknowledge all his contributions. Thank you, Brooke, for joining us. So up next, I think we're going to cover Campbell Hall. And I'm not sure if there's anyone here, but I'm in Campbell Hall. So maybe, oh, actually, Noelia's here. Are you outside of Campbell?
Oh, yes, I am.
Cool. So maybe you can talk about like AEP, and then I'm upstairs, so I can talk about CCCP. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now you're cutting off.
Is the audio off for everyone or just me?
It's off for me as well.
Okay. Noelia, I think we're having it's hard to hear you. Oh, I think she dropped. Okay. So as she's joining us, I'm in the office, so I'll just share some info about CCP. So hold on. I'm using the laptop now. So these are our offices actually. So we're in the second floor of Campbell. So when you come up to Campbell Hall, this is like our office. So it's 2211. And I'm gonna come in and we have some staff. So you wanna say hi?
Hi, I'm Aya. I'm an office assistant for CCP. Nice to meet you all.
And then we have Gabby.
Hi everyone, how are you? Gabby. Who is it?
This is our ELAC students
Oh,
that are on the
hi.
tour.
Nice to see you, everyone. Via Zoom.
Yes, and then also we usually have snacks in here. So if you're ever on the second floor and need like snacks, we also have like a fridge and a microwave, so y'all can feel free to do that. We share the second floor with linguistics. And then on the other side of CCP, we also have the Asian M department. So this is our offices are really small. So this is actually my office that's in the middle of getting a little transformation. But this is kind of where we work out of. So once you're on campus, you can come. This is Santi's office and then Alfred's office. So this is kind of where we can find you. And I'm not sure if anyone is on the first floor of Campbell. But if not, as I make my way downstairs, if anyone has any questions for us. So I'm gonna go downstairs so then I can talk about AEP. Or actually, before I do that, I think Jessica's at Fowler. Are you still there?
Hi, yes, I am. So I am inside of Fowler Museum. So fun fact, we actually have a museum inside of UCLA. So this is going to be, so you see the big building over there? That is where I was at earlier, SAC. And this one, I honestly forget the name. I'm not too sure, honestly. I don't know what the name is. I apologize for that. But this is the Fuller Museum. So just a little thing about the Fuller Museum. This is the largest museum to showcase African American and African history. Its goal is to display world culture. However, it is interesting that the school will show diverse cultures in its museum, but it would not let the essence of the people into this school, right? So as we're, definitely talking about UCLA, right? And of course, UCLA is like a beautiful campus, so many resources. We still have to be very, very, very critical about the space in which we're at. So when you come in, all UCLA students are able to get free admissions. When you come in, you do have to check in, which I already did. So this is a museum. I'm gonna try to be very, very quiet. But again, it's a free museum that it displays definitely like the culture of different, world cultures. It's my first time being here, so to be honest, I don't really know what to specifically show you all, but I'm just gonna walk you a little bit of, kind of what it is. They do have a display of how UCLA used to be before. So it's really interesting, right? So here, I'm just gonna talk very quick for the sake of time, while reflecting cultures. I'm gonna go inside of this one. And again, all of this, it's beautiful. This is something that you can definitely, come and see. Again, it's free for all UCLA students. All UCLA students are able to obtain like free admissions. So again, this is part of the Forum Museum. Again, first time being here, very interesting. Show you things like this, right? Things that, thanks to technology and thanks to being able to do this virtually, we would not have been able to do it otherwise. Maybe with permission, don't quote me on that, but this is really cool. This is something that, if you have a chance to, when you're at UCLA, you want to literally just take a break, from all those studies, and just everything in general, this is definitely something that you can just come. It's very, very, definitely very calm. I definitely enjoyed all of this. So again, this is, just a little bit more about like the museum, what they have. So they have different photo galleries. So yeah, so if you have any questions, please feel free to like drop them in the chat. But as you can see, different, photos from like years before, they're presenting archives, right? So when we're talking about, the importance and also of like all of this, like this is all history. This is all history. It goes back to like, as we presented back to like our time, right? The importance of our own narrative, the power of our own stories, where we come from, our ancestors. So again, this is, something to take in. So again, very interesting. If any moments you have any questions, or if at any moment you come to UCLA and this is something that you might potentially would like to come see, again, if it allows us, I don't know if we're able to, because I know it is free for UCLA students, but maybe we'll make something work. So again, this is a little bit more about the Forum Museum. So again, this is important for us to take, take in, look at all of this, and then from here on, right, just learn, continue more learning, because I always feel like at UCLA there's definitely something, else and new to learn. So this is just a little bit of Forum Museum. I'll definitely be back. I really liked it. Again, my first time being here. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is a little bit about the Forum Museum. So I will pass it back to Shelly.
Yes, thank you. And we're actually, Paola and I are reunited outside of Campbell, and Noelia's inside, and she's going to share a little bit about AAP, the resources, and all that good stuff.
Hi everyone, so I'm inside of Campbell, and this is where AAP is held. So this is the front desk. Basically, if you need to find an office, you would ask them. So right here is the AAP mentoring program, and they house the McNair and Research Scholars Program right here. And then if you keep going down, I think this is where the peer learning offices for English are housed. And peer learning is basically they assist you with particular classes. With any questions. I had a peer learning facilitator during my summer when I was transferring, and they basically give you they assist you through your course. Okay, so here are more of the offices going down. And again, that's another like peer learning office right there. Now here's the new student program. So basically, if for me, when I transferred, I was part of the transfer summer program, and basically I took 2 classes that are related to my major, and it's around a month of the course, and it prepares you for the rest of your semester or your academic journey here at UCLA. I'm gonna
Jessica, you wanted to add something?
Hi, yes, I do. First of all, thank you, Nelia. Oh my God, I'm running out of air. I just came up the stairs, y'all. And if y'all didn't catch it all, sometimes we just run out of air because UCLA has a lot of hills. I don't understand why. But I mean, I do get it, but you know, it's a lot of hills. But I just very quick wanted to add that AAP is something that I really do love and appreciate about AAP is that they provide different research programs. Oh my goodness, sorry. Let me get some air. But they do provide different research programs for, you know, for AAP students. So, and you don't have to have like no prior research, you know, experience. You learn so much with AAP. Like I'm saying it just because I was part of Undocu like Bruins research program, and I loved it, right? So they do have like educators for tomorrow under like for Undocu Bruins. There's more, I cannot remember them, but there's like 4 more, I want to say. There's like a total of like 6 or 5. Can't really remember at the top of my head. But there's different programs that do definitely focus on like different things. And through the research programs, right? Like that can be like kind of like your way into research, to start doing research. And again, you don't have to have no prior experience for you to do research. What I really like about the AAP programs in comparison to others is that with AAP you can just come in and have kind of like an idea of what you kind of want to do, and then once you're in the program, right, you dissect it even further, and they will help you formulate your questions, and they will definitely help you more of like figure out what specifically you want to pretty much, you know, research. So it was a really fun experience. You do get a stipend for all those research programs. The amount varies, I want to say, by program. Like for example, for Undocu Bruins, it was $1,000 for the year. So that was pretty nice, right? So I imagine doing something you love, something you're passionate, and still getting paid, you know. So honestly, it was an amazing thing. So I just want to point out that I am here. That's Royce by the back. I forgot this one, I think is Rolf. And then this one is Campbell. So I'm by the side of Campbell, and this is also Haynes. So just to clear, like a little bit, show you more a little bit of campus, kind of what it looks like, right? So this is by the back, I'm by the side of Campbell. So I'm walking towards Campbell right now, and I'll pass it back to everyone else.
Yes, thank you. And it's almost noon, so time flies so fast, right? Time flies when you're having fun. So if anyone has any like last minute questions or comments, please let us know. We want to honor your time. Jessica's making her way to Campbell. She'll pop in the screen shortly. We also just want to thank you all for joining us. We do hope and are planning on having an in-person event for all of y'all in the spring. So look forward to that. We'll keep you all posted. We'll bring you to campus. You can physically be here because that's super important. And we'll also add workshops and panels and all that stuff. So thank you for joining us virtually. Again, drop any questions. Peer advisors, if you want to put your contact info in the chat. And yes, so we hope that next time that we see you on the campus, you're here in person and you're able to connect with us in person. So thank y'all for joining us. I mean, Jessica. Not sure where Brenda is. She's around here too. So thank you all so much for joining us. Next time, y'all be here and looking forward to it. So again, any last minute questions or anything, put them in the chat or feel free to unmute. And thank y'all.
Bye. Thank you. Ask us about anything, majors, campus. Sorry.
There's bugs, you know. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Go Bruins. I know it's rivalry weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully we beat SC tomorrow.
Have a great weekend.
Work on your PIQs.
Yes, PIQs. Take breaks too though.
Yes. Next weekend it's a holiday, so take advantage. Come see us. Join our drop-in hours. Come to our workshops. Tell your friends. Great. Thank you, everyone. Sorry,